It began like any other Friday in Southern California. Holiday plans, errands, and anticipation. The sun was shining, and the air buzzed with the usual energy of people going about their routines, unaware that everything was about to change. Maria Sanchez, a new homeowner, was excited for her long-awaited refrigerator delivery from Howard's Appliance, a store her family trusted for decades. She had saved for months, eager to make her new house feel like home, and today was supposed to be a milestone. But, when she called to confirm, no one answered. The phone rang and rang, echoing her growing unease. Concerned, she drove to the Tustin store, hoping it was just a technical glitch or a busy morning. The parking lot was eerily empty. Not a single delivery truck or employee in sight, just a silence that felt out of place. The once bright storefront was dark, a stark "Close Permanently" sign taped to the door. The windows, usually filled with displays, were now empty and lifeless. Maria's heart sank, her refrigerator wasn't coming, and her money was gone. She wasn't alone. Other customers stood outside, equally stunned and confused. Across Southern California, customers found locked doors and shuttered windows at every Howard's location. The closure was total, affecting communities from Los Angeles to Riverside. Employees, some with decades of service, were blindsided by a cold, abrupt notice. The company was shutting down immediately. Many had no idea until they arrived for their shifts, only to find themselves locked out. There was no farewell, no warning, just a sudden end to nearly 80 years of business. The familiar signs were being taken down, erasing a legacy in a matter of hours. News spread quickly on social media. Posts and messages flooded local groups, as disbelief turned to anger and worry. Customers with pending orders for thousands of dollars in appliances scrambled for answers. Many frantically searched for receipts, hoping for a way to recover their money. The trust built over generations was shattered in a single day. Lifelong customers felt betrayed, left with nothing but questions. Howard's closure wasn't just a business failure, it was the disappearance of a community landmark. Families lost their savings, employees lost their livelihoods, and the sense of stability that came from a familiar neighborhood store was gone. Neighborhoods lost a familiar presence. The empty storefronts were a stark reminder of how quickly things can change. The abruptness left everyone reeling, with more questions than answers. Conversations in parking lots and online were filled with confusion and disbelief. For many, it felt like losing a piece of Southern California's history. Howard's had been woven into the fabric of daily life for generations. The shockwaves rippled through online forums with stories of confusion and heartbreak. People shared memories, vented frustrations, and tried to make sense of what had happened. The sudden closure of all 17 stores left a void and a trail of broken promises. The impact was felt not just by customers and employees, but by entire neighborhoods. In a single day, a trusted institution simply vanished, leaving behind only memories and unanswered questions. To truly grasp the shock that rippled through the community, you have to understand just how much Howard's meant to the people who lived here. For decades, it wasn't just a place to buy a fridge or a TV, it was a cornerstone of daily life, woven into the fabric of the neighborhood. Founded in 1946 as a humble radio repair shop, Howard's grew alongside Southern California, expanding from radios to televisions, and eventually to every major home appliance you could imagine. Its story mirrored the growth and change of the region itself. It was more than a store. It was a trusted partner for generations of families, a place where parents brought their children, and those children later returned as adults. Employee ownership fostered loyalty and expertise. Customers were guided by staff who knew their products inside and out, often remembering your name and your family's needs. Buying an appliance at Howard's was a rite of passage, a family tradition passed down through the years, marking milestones like a first home or a growing family. The company sponsored local teams, offered first jobs to countless teens, and became a symbol of dependability and community spirit. Its red logo was a familiar sight in a changing world, a beacon of stability as the city evolved around it. The sudden shutdown felt like a betrayal of decades of community trust, leaving loyal customers stunned and searching for answers. Howard's had weathered recessions, changing technology, and fierce competition from big box stores, always finding ways to adapt and survive. Until now. Its collapse was a stark reminder that even the most established institutions, no matter how beloved, aren't immune to today's economic storms and shifting retail landscape. In the aftermath, customers and employees demanded answers. The company soon filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, revealing a business battered by economic pressures. Tariffs, declining consumer spending, and other macroeconomic challenges had eroded Howard's financial foundation. These weren't the result of a single mistake, but a relentless series of blows. As a regional, employee-owned chain, Howard's couldn't absorb the mounting costs. Leadership explored options, but bankruptcy was the only path left. Chapter 11 offered a chance to reorganize, but with all stores closed and staff gone, recovery seemed unlikely. For those affected, the legal distinctions didn't matter. The jobs and stores were gone. The future of Howard's was left in limbo, its legacy overshadowed by uncertainty. One major culprit in Howard's downfall was tariffs. Tariffs on imported appliances and parts drove up costs, squeezing already thin profit margins. Howard's faced a painful choice: absorb the costs or raise prices and risk losing customers. Unlike national giants, Howard's lacked the leverage to negotiate with suppliers or weather the financial hit. The result was a slow, steady erosion of profitability. Trade policies made thousands of miles away had a direct, devastating impact on this local business. Employees and customers rarely thought about tariffs, but these hidden costs chipped away at Howard's stability. The company was caught in a vice, unable to compete on price or scale. The global economy's ripple effects proved fatal for a regional chain. Tariffs weren't just policy, they were the silent force behind a community's loss. The second blow was a sharp drop in consumer spending. Major appliances are big, infrequent purchases, easy to postpone when times are tough. Inflation and rising interest rates squeezed family budgets, making upgrades and renovations less likely. Customers repaired old appliances or delayed kitchen remodels, and Howard's showrooms grew quiet. The company specialized in mid to high-end products, relying on confident, optimistic buyers, but as caution set in, those sales dried up. Discount retailers could still attract bargain hunters, but Howard's niche became a liability. The decline wasn't a dip, it was a sustained drought. With revenue shrinking and costs rising, Howard's couldn't survive the downturn. The company's strength, its specialization, became its Achilles heel. The economic chill was simply too much to bear. Beyond tariffs and spending, Howard's faced a perfect storm of macroeconomic challenges. Inflation drove up costs for fuel, electricity, and wages, even as sales fell. Supply chain disruptions meant popular models were often out of stock, frustrating customers and damaging the company's reputation. Planning became impossible in a world of constant uncertainty. The employee-owned structure, once a source of pride, limited access to outside capital. Each challenge alone was tough. Together, they were overwhelming. The economic storm dismantled Howard's piece by piece. In the end, even 80 years of history couldn't save it. The collapse of Howard's was a human tragedy, not just a financial one. It was a moment that sent shockwaves through the lives of countless people who depended on the company for their livelihoods and their homes. Employees, some with decades of service, lost their jobs with just a day's notice, right before the holidays. For many, Howard's was more than a workplace. It was a second family, a place where friendships and memories were built over years of dedication. The suddenness severed bonds and left families scrambling, with no severance or support. Parents faced the daunting task of explaining to their children why gifts and celebrations would be different this year, while others worried about how to pay rent or buy groceries. Customers with pending orders lost thousands, left in limbo with no answers and little hope of refunds. Many had saved for months, even years, to purchase essential appliances, only to be left empty-handed and frustrated. Phone lines went dead, websites vanished, and trust evaporated overnight. The silence from the company was deafening, leaving both employees and customers feeling abandoned. Social media filled with stories of heartbreak. First-time homeowners, elderly customers, families waiting months for appliances that would never arrive. The sense of loss was shared and amplified online as people searched for answers and support. The loss rippled through communities, shattering faith in a once reliable institution. Local businesses and neighborhoods felt the impact. as a familiar anchor of the community disappeared almost overnight. Howard's legacy of service ended not with celebration, but with confusion and betrayal. The pride that employees once felt was replaced by uncertainty and grief. The real cost was measured in lost jobs, lost savings, and broken trust. For some, the financial blow was immediate. For others, the emotional toll would last much longer. For many, the pain of Howard's closure will linger far longer than the headlines. The story of Howard's is a reminder that behind every business failure are real people whose lives are changed forever. Howard's story is a warning for today's retail world. Mid-sized regional businesses are caught between global giants and nimble boutiques, too big to be flexible, too small to compete on price. Personalized service and community trust are no longer enough to guarantee survival. The collapse signals a shift. Reputation alone can't protect against economic shocks. When financial pressures mount, even established brands can vanish overnight, leaving customers stranded. The squeezed middle is a dangerous place in modern retail. The forces that brought down Howard's, tariffs, inflation, changing habits, are reshaping the entire industry. Survival now demands scale, resilience, and adaptability. The lesson is clear. In today's volatile economy, no business is too established to fail. Howard's sudden demise offers lessons for today's consumers. Trust in a brand's history is no longer enough. Caution is essential. For big purchases, use credit cards for added protection against non-delivery. Ask about delivery timelines and supply chain risks before placing orders. Support local businesses, but understand the risks in a volatile economy. Balance loyalty with prudence, enjoy local service, but protect yourself financially. The retail landscape is now defined by uncertainty and rapid change. Consumers must be vigilant, ask questions, and use available safeguards. By staying informed, we can support the businesses we value and shield ourselves from sudden loss. In this new era, vigilance is the best defense against doors that might never open again.